Here we go. What do... Hello. Testing. No. What do Jamal Crawford, J.R. Smith, Carmelo Anthony, and Vince Carter all have in common? Welcome to episode 5 of the Royal City Hoops podcast. I'm just going to go with Bill. And if you guessed that all 4 of those guys are old, that's correct. The other thing is they can still play ball. And I'm doing this podcast as a response to a text I got from an old hoops buddy, Chris Webber. Not that Chris Webber. He didn't play for the Fab Five, but he did play pro ball in Europe. And he's a bit of a character. So I wanted to dig into what he was asking me. Now, Jamal Crawford is what he was asking me about. Could Jamal Crawford help a team? Still a really good player. I think he dropped his last game. He dropped like 40-something. And he's 40 right now. So why isn't he on a team? What about J.R. Smith? Why isn't he on a team? Well, let's think about what Vince Carter's doing. Vince Carter is the oldest player in the NBA. He's 41? And he chose a different path than a lot of guys. A lot of guys, as they got older, they start ring chasing. Well, Vince decided he wanted to actually play. He didn't want to just be on a team. So he was willing to not play some nights, play others, not get a lot of shots in the interest of playing as long as he could. And now that I'm old and I realize, like, I made a comment to somebody I work with the other day. I'm like, hey, I don't want to be doing X, till I'm 50. I had a moment where, like, 50 is not that far away. It's really close. So I totally understand these pro athletes who are trying to dig up and play as long as they can. And grind out as many minutes as they can. Peyton Manning wanted to play till the wheels fall off. Tom Brady playing till the wheels fall off. Michael Jordan, people are saying, what about their legacy? Hey, if you love to play, who cares about your legacy? Some guys do. I just kind of laugh at the idea, people saying, why does Steph Curry want to come back and play this season? I mean, when there was going to be a season. Because guys who want to play just want to play. They only have a finite amount of time to be an NBA player. And every game you miss is a game you can't get back. You don't want to live with regret. You don't want to think back and go, man, I should have done that. I'm lucky that I'm getting to do this. I won't have this regret. I won't ever wonder like, oh man, what if I did do a podcast and a blog? Well, now I get to do it. So I get why these guys just keep playing until the wheels fall off. Now, let's get back on track here with Jamal Crawford, Vince Carter. I mean, we saw with Carmelo Anthony. Is he willing to take a side or take a back seat to what he used to be in order to keep playing? There was big questions, and I think that may have been what held teams back from saying, hey, is this guy going to be able to come in and take a role and be a contributor and not make waves? And the answer seems to be yes right now. He's not going to be the best player on a title team. He's probably not going to be one of the top 4 players on a title team. But he's still playing, and he can still contribute. I mean, the guy can put up 20 on any given night. I mean, Jamal Crawford can do the same. But I think the question with Jamal Crawford and J.R. Smith, to that matter, is a little different. With Jamal Crawford, he needs the right situation. I mean, I guess like Melo, he needs the right situation with the right teammates, the right organization, the right coaches for that situation to be successful. Jalen Rose talks about where you get drafted matters and how you develop. Well, same goes here. Jamal Crawford needs to go to the right situation, right? Is he going to be willing to take a back seat? Not just a back seat. He's always been a sixth man and been in the background, but he's always played. Is he going to be willing to go out emotionally in play some nights and not play others? It's not a question of does he want to do that? Can he? We all lie to ourselves a little bit sometimes about what we believe and what we can do. So is he honest with himself first? And is that going to work out? Can he go to a situation, mentor young guys, not play, and be successful in that role? I would think probably. I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Well, we'll talk about J.R. Smith in a minute. But also, what happens if you bring him in and you don't play him, and then he starts playing, and he plays better than the young guys you brought him in to mentor, and he outplays them, and he hurts their confidence, right? And you're better as a team with him out there. Is that Jamal Crawford's fault? No. But as an organization this is a business, you have to think about developing your young talent. I think that matters. So I'd love to think it's as easy as saying like, hey, just let him get out there and play. But I don't think it's that simple. J.R. Smith, I think that's a little bit different of a scenario because outwardly he seems to be a bit of a chucklehead. Decision making on the floor, maybe not as great as, I don't know what it is off the floor. He certainly is likable, when you listen to him talking to him as a person, but as a basketball organization, are you going to invest in a 36, 37-year-old to come in and play spot minutes when those spot minutes could go to a younger guy to develop him? I have less faith in J.R. Smith being a mentor and role model than I do, say, Jamal Crawford. Carmelo Anthony is a super well-liked player around the league. He is well respected by everyone. I just listened to a podcast or a YouTube video with Iman Shumpert talking about how much he loved Carmelo Anthony and why, and that Carmelo would always take heat for the team, for the coach, would never throw anybody under the bus. I mean, it just, the amount of access you get now to players and what they think and who they are is just so different than when I grew up. And I think it's one of the reasons that this is the best era ever for basketball. And I'll get into that on another podcast. But those are my thoughts on Jamal Crawford, Chris. I would love to hear your thoughts. Why don't we have a conversation? You use your Instagram or your Facebook or whatever, and you post a video and tell me what you think. Don't text me. Do a video. Don't overthink it. Just put it on. Let's do it. So, like if you like, comment if you have something to say, subscribe at your own risk, and I want to thank everybody who's taken the time to listen, for listening, and everybody who has commented, Mac, Vic, Weber, Adam, Justin, my wife, Damien, who's taken the time to tell me how much they enjoy this. I super appreciate it. I'm going to keep doing this because I'm having fun doing it. I'm out.